So today's video is a care and husbandry video on what I think is one of the top beginner species in the tarantula hobby. It is Tliltocatl albopilosus. Hello everybody, welcome to this latest episode. I am your host Robbie and this is Robbiestalkingts, tarantula content for tarantula lovers just like yourselves. In today's video I'm going to be giving you care and husbandry information on Tliltocatl albopilosus. But before we get into that, make sure to smash that like button, it really helps out the channel. So now let's give you that care information. So let's give you some care and husbandry information on Tliltocatl albopilosus, formerly known as brachypelma albopilosm. Now Tliltocatl albopilosus, commonly known as the curly hair tarantula, is a terrestrial New World species endemic to Honduras, Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Now the growth rate on these guys is very slow, but once they reach that diagonal leg span of 6.5 inches, I think you'll agree that these guys were absolutely worth the wait and are stunningly gorgeous. Now, being a New World species, they do have type 3 urticating hairs, so you definitely want to be careful that you don't get any of those on your skin or in your eyes or in your nose or mouth, because they are irritating. Now growth rate on these guys is very slow, so if you pick one up as a tiny little sling, please be prepared that it will take a while for it to start putting on the size that you would like to see, and they do have long pre-molt periods. Life expectancy on these, females have been documented to live for 25 years plus, and males have a much shorter life expectancy of just 5 years. Now the one thing I do love about this species is they are one of the top beginner species in the hobby. Just down to their awesome temperament, these guys are really calm and really docile. Now I know there's some people out there that report that their specimens do have the complete opposite character and they do throw up threat postures and do readily kick hairs, but those cases are very few and far between. So that is why I highly recommend this for all beginners. Now, enclosure wise, as slings, I like to keep these in tiny little dram vials, or I also have custom made sling pots. All you need in there is slightly damp substrate, as these guys do tend to appreciate the moisture. It helps them out a great deal when it comes to drinking and molting, and yeah, like all slings, just keep them in slightly moist substrate. But as they get older, they do tend to like it drier. That is one thing that also makes it a great bonus as a beginner species, because you won't have to sit there and fuss about the humidity levels or how moist it is, how damp the substrate is. These guys, they're awesome for that. So that's another reason why I highly recommend them. Now, once these guys reach that massive 6.5 inch diagonal leg span, I like to keep mine in a 30 by 30 by 30 Exoterra, giving it the basic terrestrial setup, substrate, cork bark hide and a water dish. I can't stress how important it is to give your tarantula the opportunity to drink whenever it needs it. So make sure you put one in with all your tarantulas. If you do that, you will have one happy tarantula. So let's talk about feeding schedule. All my tarantulas in the hobby do have a set schedule. I like to feed slings and juveniles every other day, making sure they have the appropriate size prey for the size of the sling or the juvenile. And adults, I like to feed once a week. And temperature wise, all the species in my collection are kept at a steady 24 degrees Celsius during the day, which then drops down at night to around 18 degrees. Now I know some people like to keep theirs higher and lower, but I just want to pull it out there that all my specimens in these temperature ranges do just fine. If it's a bit more or a bit less, it doesn't really matter. Just be careful that it doesn't drop too low, as your tarantula could potentially die. And if it gets too hot, then it may cook itself alive, which is why I highly recommend heating the room and not providing things like heat mats or heat rocks or heat lamps or anything like that when housing your tarantula. It's just unnecessary. So let's do a quick recap on Tliltocatl albopilosus, or the curly hair tarantula. Is a New World terrestrial species. It has type 3 urticating hairs, and it also has a very slow growth rate. Life expectancy, females are expected to reach 25 years and males are much shorter, 5 years. Feeding wise, I feed my slings and juveniles every other day. Adults I feed once a week. Temperature wise, I keep mine between 24 degrees during the day and 18 degrees at night. All these guys need is a basic terrestrial setup, substrate, hide and a water dish. If you just stick to that and don't worry about it too much, these guys will do just fine, and you'll have an awesome spider in your collection for many years. So there we have it, Tliltocatl albopilosus, a great beginner species and absolutely gorgeous in its own right. Now this is the end of the video, but before we go, I want to take the time to tell you guys about the new giveaway going on in the channel. At 2,000 subscribers, I'm giving one of you the chance to win 3 months free subscription to Creature Crate. The invert subscription box that comes through your door monthly, containing everything you could possibly want in this amazing hobby. If that's something that you would like to get your hands on, just make sure to subscribe to the channel and you're in with a chance. Now all that's been said, I'll see you in the next video.